Roger, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, taxi from Bravo.
So, what did I do wrong here?
Taxi Bravo, line up and report ready, Golf India Victor.
Find out in this decision-making debrief. I wanted to share this example from a flight in France with my son. I fell into a trap. I could see it happening at the time, and I don't know why I didn't do things differently. Let's break it down. So here we are on the ground at Deauville in northern France. I'm travelling back from a short break, and we'd stopped here to clear customs.
Bonjour, this is Deauville Foxtrot information, recorded at 1128 UTC. ILS approach runway 30, runway 30 in use.
I was a little bit behind on my schedule, and earlier in the day the British Border Force had called me on the phone to quiz me about my passenger. My son is on board with me, and they wanted to check that we were related. They hinted that they might come out and meet the flight when it lands at Red Hill.
Deauville Tower, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, parking Alpha 1 with Foxtrot QNH 1014, request engine start.
Now, I wanted my flight to land on time, especially if the Border Force were coming out, as I don't like aggravating people or being late for people. We were running a little late, as I said. The weather was on my mind, as was the Paris Olympics opening ceremony, which was due to shut down a lot of the airspace around here in an hour or so. These, I think, would all become factors that influenced the next decision I made. Now, usually, unless otherwise specified, aircraft power checks are usually done at the hold for the departure runway, and that was what I was expecting to do here. But listen to what happens when I call up for taxi.
Deauville Tower, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, ready for taxi.
Golf India Victor, what will be your altitude expected and exit point?
Roger, I would like to climb flight levels. Well, we'll climb to altitude 2,000 feet, looking for flight level 70, approximately 10 miles, and exiting at the FIR boundary at IFKIF, Golf India Victor.
Exit point for the CTR, so it will be West Point?
West. Affirm, Golf India Victor.
So I got a little confused and I was stumbling there because the controller had asked me which VRP I was going to leave the CTR by, and I hadn't prepared for that because in the past when I've left Deauville I've just climbed straight out, I haven't had to leave via a VRP. The other question about what altitude I'm going to climb to was also difficult to answer because I knew I wanted flight level 070 for the cruise over the English Channel, but I also knew I wouldn't be able to climb to that level straight away because of low cloud along the coastline. But it wasn't those things that caused the problem, it was this instruction that caught me out.
Roger, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, taxi from Bravo back to runway 30 if necessary, line up and report ready.
Taxi Bravo, line up and report ready, Golf India Victor.
So I'm at the parking point on the apron and I need to do my power checks before departure. I usually do those power checks at the holding point for the runway unless there's another specified location that I should do that in the AIP for the airfield.
So we've got master mags, brakes off at 1537.
Now I've been told to line up, backtrack, enter the runway and so on. What I should be saying now is negative, request taxi to the holding point for the runway and a delay of 2 to 3 minutes to complete my power checks. I don't do that, I do this instead.
Master mags.
I'm quickly doing my power checks from memory. I don't have my checklist out as I wasn't quite ready for it. I feel the urge to line up and not delay. I'm haphazardly going through the vital actions as I remember them.
Ready to go?
But have I missed anything?
Yeah. Golf India Victor, we're ready for departure.
Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, runway 30 cleared for takeoff, wind 330 degrees, 4 knots, report 2,000 feet.
Clear for takeoff and Wilco, Golf India Victor.
Takeoff goes as normal. I leave the frequency, turn towards the sea, and it's then that I realise I'd forgotten to change the fuel selector to the tank with the fullest quantity.
They didn't really give me I should have said I need to do power checks before entering the runway. They kind of said, when I was at the parking point, they said line up. I hadn't done my power checks, so I kind of did them quickly. I didn't go through the checklist, and the one thing I missed was not selecting the tank with the fullest fuel.
Before departure, we should always check the feed during our pre-flight checks from all of our fuel tanks and depart using the tank with the fullest quantity. I didn't do that, hands up, that was really bad of me. But why didn't I speak up to ATC and tell them that I needed more time? Well, firstly, there was a little bit of pressure to get away because of the weather and also the worry about those Border Force officers turning up for me at Red Hill. But I think the biggest issue here was a lack of confidence. I think when I was confused and stumbling a little on the RT with the controller on the ground, I felt like I was being a bit of a nuisance. When he asked me to line up, I didn't want to cause any more hassle to him by requesting a delay. Deauville is a pretty big airport, it's French, I'm just a private pilot in a small aircraft, I'm in the way. Actually, do you know what, I think the controller would have been absolutely fine if I'd asked for a delay, and if he was bothered, well, so be it. It shouldn't be my problem. I'm in charge here, ATC is providing a service to me. Another thing that I think is perhaps worth mentioning in this situation is that when we get into muddles and confusion on the RT, it's often because we've been asked something that we weren't expecting, or we don't know what the by-the-book standard phraseology response should be. In those situations, plain English works all the time. Okay, I was dealing with a French controller, and if I'd used, I don't know, some complicated English, maybe they wouldn't have got it. But if I'd have said something like, I haven't done my power checks yet, I need a 2-minute delay, I'm sure they would have understood, and it would have been perfectly acceptable in this situation to have done that.
Golf India Victor, straight and approach runway 25 left. Number 1, report final.
Straight and approach 25 left, number 1, Wilco, Golf India Victor.
The rest of the flight went without incident, and I landed back home a little bit behind schedule, and as it turned out, there were no Border Force officers to meet me at Red Hill after all. Let me know in the comments if you face similar issues or have also felt the pressure to get on with things because of ATC. Maybe there have been cases where you have successfully said no and refused an instruction for all the good reasons. This video has been produced with the support of Astral Aviation Consulting, the UK CAA's safety partner for general aviation. They run free monthly workshops online which provide some great advice and help to keep your flights safe. The next workshop is on Wednesday the 26th of February at 7:30 p.m. British time. To register, visit astralaviationconsulting.com.